beautiful?
Just like my personal definition of beauty. Gosh, like things are. I feel like I define beautiful a lot by, you know, the people I care for. I sort of automatically think that they're beautiful. You know, so, and things that make me feel good, I think of as beautiful. You know, like happiness, when folks are, when people are in a really happy mood or having a good time or have sort of positive energy, I think I interpret that as beautiful. There's probably more standard stuff I think of as beautiful too. Because I think I can be critical of myself, you know, like if my hair is actually curling, then that's beautiful, but if it's frizzy, then that's not beautiful. I have absolutely no sense of beauty when it comes to clothes. Like, I have just, like, I think jeans are beautiful, and that's about as far as it goes.
How does society affect how you feel about your body?
Oh, gosh, yeah, okay. So, I feel like, because I've been in the world of women's and gender studies for so long, that's been really, really helpful for me, because it's given me kind of a resistant mentality. Because I think that society is constantly telling us that our bodies essentially are not good enough, you know? That, you know, you're always supposed to be thinner, and you're supposed to have bigger breasts, and you're supposed to have, you know, certain kind of legs and certain kind of hair. And so I think, like, I've really had to be fairly resistant to that. I've had to kind of, and because I teach women's and gender studies and I'm talking about it and I'm conscious of it, I think that's made it easier for me to be resistant. But it's sort of a constant effort. I mean, even, you know, I think it's gotten a little easier as I've gotten older. But when I was younger, I remember that's, you know, my girlfriends and I would be really conscious of telling each other, like, no, you look awesome, you look awesome. And I think I'm lucky too, because I have a body that is sort of naturally thin, and that's not something that I've had to struggle with, so I haven't had to really grapple with, you know, how much our society hates fatness in women. But I do think I've had to really develop, you know, a critical mind. So I mean, like, I see ads now, and I immediately kick into critical mode, because I'm teaching, right? So I'll be like, oh my God, that ad is so sexist. Like, I should bring that into class. And I think that helps me not be as affected.
But is it still always there?
You know, it's not always there. It's not always there. It's pretty present. I mean, I guess I want to sort of offer a little bit of a hopeful something, because I think, you know, being in a place in my life where I'm really happy with my career, and I'm in a, you know, a very long-term, very happy relationship, and I have a family, I have a daughter. All of those things matter so much to me that often now I really do feel beautiful, even when I don't match what our culture says is supposed to be beautiful. Like, I really do feel, you know, like, I'm in a family where I'm surrounded by love. I have lots of good friends. You know, it's sort of like the things that I think you hope beauty will bring to your life. Like, I have those things. So it sort of doesn't matter that I don't necessarily look like what our society says you're supposed to look like. So it's not always there. But often it is. I mean, often I'm having to work against it. And my mom, you know, I have to give my mom pep talks about, like, no, you're awesome, you know, your body is gorgeous, forget what culture says, like, you know. And my mom did, I think due to me being a pushy feminist daughter, she, like, stopped dyeing her hair, and she's decided to just embrace, like, and her hair's gorgeous, she has this beautiful gray hair, you know, and I thought it looked a little ridiculous to be an older woman with brown hair. So when she let it go gray, it was like, oh, look at you, you know, you look like a beautiful older woman. But there aren't that many models of beautiful older women in culture, so I think she's had to be sort of resistant too. And I've been her pep squad for that.
Okay, and one last question. What pressures do you feel that girls have to face on a daily basis? Especially teenage girls.
Yeah. You know, I feel like they have to be pretty, but not too pretty. That there's this sort of fine line that girls feel like they're supposed to, you know, they're supposed to fit this ideal of what their bodies are supposed to look like. But then if they're too pretty, then you know, they might get harassed, or they might get made fun of, or they might get, you know, sexually assaulted, and so they have to be kind of careful with that. Yeah, I feel like it's being a girl is sort of really tricky terrain. I think it's very hard to be a teenage girl and sort of value yourself. There aren't necessarily a lot of messages out there for girls, you know, to be able to recognize themselves as, like, incredibly smart and incredibly powerful, and I think that's really hard. You know, I mean, it was hard for me to be a girl, and I think things have probably changed a lot. It was hard for me to be a girl, because I got made fun of a lot for being, like, the smart girl. But when I was a teenage girl, I don't think the expectations were nearly as high for girls to be sexy as they are now. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like we see a lot of sexual images that I didn't have to face. I think y'all dealt with a lot more sexual images than I dealt with when I was a teenager. Which has got to be just really, really tough. And I remember scrutinizing my body as a teenager. Like, you know, what's happening? Is it going to look like it's supposed to look? Like, you know, and I bet that's even harder now. Yeah, just because I think you all have so much more, you have had so much more sexual stuff to deal with than I've had.
Do you feel like guys experience the same pressures, or?
You know, I do think guys experience some pressures, yeah. I don't know that it's the same. And we'll be talking about this in class today. But I have two younger brothers, and so I did see them struggle. Like, they didn't struggle with, you know, am I going to be thin enough? Am I going to grow breasts? But they struggled with, like, am I going to be strong? You know, like, am I going to be powerful? I'm supposed to be tough. Am I going to be tough enough? And I do remember my little brother, when he was about 11 or 12, got pretty chubby, and it really freaked him out. And then, like, a few months later, he truly grew 6 inches in, like, 6 months. And so his body was chunking up so that he could grow. But I remember him really, and the whole family was like, no, you're eating healthy. Like, your body is doing what it's supposed to do. But I remember he, like, they don't get many cultural messages about that, because he thought, like, maybe I should go on a diet. It's good that he didn't, because his body was, he's 6'8", you know, his body was going to grow. But so he did struggle with a little bit of that, you know, like, I'm too fat. But I remember my brothers more struggling with, like, am I going to be tough in the way I'm supposed to be? And that was not really something I didn't feel like I had to learn to be tough. I kind of wish I had learned to be tough, you know? Mm-hmm. But that was definitely, so I think that they had different struggles. But yeah, I think learning to be, like, masculine enough is a different kind of challenge.
Okay, so thank you. But would you like to say anything else just about body image, body acceptance? Anything that you haven't mentioned?
You know, I would love to see us be really welcome, you know, really open to bodily differences as being beautiful and cool and interesting, because I think we do, you know, we can be such a homogenizing culture where we're like, there's one image of what's supposed to be beautiful. And it's like, really, like, human bodies are so different. They can grow in so many different ways. I mean, if you look at cultures around the world, there are so many different models of what an appropriate body looks like, and in terms of, I mean, everything, right? Every aspect of height and weight and hair and jewelry and, you know, different body modifications that people do. And I think it would be great if we as a culture could be more open to diversity as being beautiful, rather than saying, like, no, if you don't have long straight hair and, you know, whatever the, you know, 36, 24, 36 kind of, you know, that you're not beautiful. I just think that's, you know, that's really limited.
Thank you.
You're welcome.